I'm going to begin just by asking what it was about this particular story that compelled you as a storyteller to tell it.
It was an image. Woman blindfolded, hostile, beautiful landscape, holding two kids also blindfolded, obviously trying to navigate them through the landscape. That image I just thought was really, really interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, it feels quite different to what you've done before, but then looking through your career, every film feels quite different to the last one. Is that a conscious decision on your part to keep trying new things, or do you just go where the good stories are?
Look, I just go where am fascinated, and then that sort of automatically suggests new things. It's not like I want to do this, but I do feel I don't want to repeat myself. I kind of feel that I'd be really boring if I do the same movie over and over.
And obviously, I mean, it goes without saying how good Sandra is in this movie. It feels like, having now seen it, that that role couldn't belong to anyone else. You must have been so thrilled when she signed up.
But she was one of the reasons why I got interested. Yeah. I got a call saying, read the script, Sandra Bullock is interested in playing Mallory. And so I read it with her in my mind. And for me, it hasn't been impossible that it would ever be anyone else. Mm-hmm. And I think she does it just magnificently.
Across your career, is that, obviously, I imagine you've read countless scripts, or you've had a certain person in mind. When that person has sometimes fallen, say not done the project, what does that kind of mean to a filmmaker? Does that, throwing a sort of spanner in the works like that, can that really change? How much does that change the kind of film that you're making when the actor that you did have in mind then has to depart the project for any reason?
I very luckily have not tried that. I do think it does change the script. It does change the project. Sometimes some directors say it becomes better from it. I have been so fortunate not to try that.
And I mean, the cast in this is amazing. It's not just Sandra. I mean, even the smaller sort of supporting roles fall into the laps of Jacki Weaver or sort of John Malkovich. I mean,
Tom Hollander.
Yeah, Tom Hollander. I mean, it must be incredible casting for this.
It's an amazing cast. It's an amazing cast, and they are all wonderful actors. And I think part of what I wanted to make those scenes real striking and kind of. Because I did not want it to be a horror film. I did want it to be a thriller, and I did want it to be emotionally engaging and interesting. So it was really important that the cast was right.
Yeah, because I mean, it's such an inclination, isn't there, for these days? Everything just have a label. So this will be, have you seen that new horror movie, Birdbox? Because people love to put a word in front of a film at the moment. But this is a film I saw it as a film about motherhood, really, and about the way families are formed.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It is a movie about motherhood, and that's why she wanted to do it, and that's why Sandy wanted to do it, and that's why I want to do it, because it is a thriller about motherhood, and it's a very interesting portrait of a mother, because it's very unlikely anything we've ever seen. She's not at all time kind and nice. She's pretty harsh and brutal, but because it's her, you kind of love it, and it's very intriguing.
Yeah. And also, I mean, obviously, with any movie, so much emotion is comes through the eyes. That's where so much emotion comes from. I mean, some of the best lines in cinema have never been actually spoken before. I was just wondering about, in this instance, I mean, there was some really big integral scenes where the characters were blindfolded. I was wondering how you access the emotional kind of nuances of a character when you took away their most sort of emotional part of their body in some way.
Yeah, it's like asking a painter to make a painting without using his brushes. And because she's such a great artist, Sandra, she actually managed to convey the emotions with her body and by other means. But it was very challenging, and she's brilliant.
And I mean, the film is quite ambiguous in a sense. It doesn't give us too much. I mean, in terms of the narrative, a lot of this is still very elusive. I was wondering, when you're making this, do you like to fill in the gaps, or do you like to be in the same boat that the audience is in?
I like to challenge the audience a little bit. I mean, I like to entertain, and I like it to be thrilling and exciting, but I also like for the audience to have a bit of space to not know exactly. And that's how I like it. When I'm an audience, that's how I like it as well. Mm-hmm. So I guess I put the movie in that space where I myself find it exciting.
Because I mean, it's quite an intense ride, this movie that you take the audience on. Can you, when you watch it back now, can you get taken on that ride as well? Is that impossible when you're the director of the movie?
When you're a director, you've prepared it, shot it, edited, and mixed the sound. And I still have scenes where I kind of go where I kind of suddenly find myself disappearing into it, and then I'm kind of out of it, and then I remember, oh, that was the sound, or but yes, I do still get caught into it.
Yeah, because I was with I went out for dinner the other night with my friends, and we were all talking about the new Coen Brothers film, Buster Scruggs, and they'd all seen it, and it's on Netflix at the moment. And the reason they've all seen it is because it's on Netflix. And usually when I'm with my friends, we can't talk about new films because they so rarely go to the cinema because obviously it's so expensive. So obviously I saw this and thought it would look incredible on a big screen, but at the same time, the most important thing is that your films are being seen, really. So I guess with the accessibility of kind of streaming services, you must be sort of pleased that's where this has found its home.
I agree. I mean, I agree, because I do want audience to see my film. And this is a unique opportunity for me to have way more people than I would ever have had to watch it. And but what you're saying is also that you were talking about it. It does also have like a social element, which is different. I mean, I don't want cinemas to disappear, and I want them to kind of come back, but I also do quite enjoy streaming.
Because obviously I was wondering at what stage Netflix were on board in this, and if you know you're making something for...
Well, Netflix was involved all the time.
The whole time.
When I got involved, it was moving from a studio to Netflix. Yeah.
So does that alter anything about the way you approach it, or do you just make it as you would any other movie?
No,
for the big screen?
I think Netflix are very bold, and they want kind of uncompromising work from the filmmaker. That's more important to them than whether it's sort of and so they are extremely collaborative, and I think we were wanting to make the same movie, and all the conversations that we had were within the realms of this is the movie we are making, and what works and what doesn't work. And when we were testing it, it was the same conversation. It was never they want one kind of movie, I want a different kind of movie. That was never the case.
And just finally, you mentioned you're a big fan of streaming. So what's your favourite thing you're watching at the moment?
Not long ago, I watched Wild Wild Country, the documentary series, which I think is just brilliant.
Well, thank you so much for your time
today.
Much appreciated.